Welcome to 5 and 5 from the One Stop Co-op Shop, where I discuss 5 key elements of a game in about 5 minutes. I'm Michael Kelly, and today I'm looking at The Initiative, which is sort of a mix of like a code cracking game and an escape room game. And quick disclaimer that I was sent a review copy of this one. I like word games, I like deduction, I like escape rooms. Did I enjoy this one? Let's find out and get to the list. So first, my number 5 is a mix, although this is one of those that could be a lot more important to other people, and that's the amount of replay in the game and the amount of content in the game. So first of all, the big thing is that the overall campaign is about 14 or 15 games long, and for each of the scenarios, once you've solved it, you know the solution. You can't really play it again with the same group. But on the positive side of this, because the code breaking game, which is the majority of the time you'll spend with the initiative, because that's fully randomized each time, you can still play with other new players as long as you don't help them with the clue. Like the gameplay itself is interesting enough, at least in my experience, that I don't mind playing a scenario again, but letting them deduce the answer. But then one more thing, and you might want to skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want a spoiler. Are you going to do it? Going to skip ahead? But real quick, a semi-secret thing. Once you beat the campaign, they have 24 different missions that are just the code breaking. Tons of extra content. Really makes the deal much better. But my number 4 is a full-on pro, and that's the sort of comic book side story that goes along with the main gameplay. So basically, you're controlling both this group of kids that found a board game and are trying to solve a mystery with it, and also like playing the board game itself. It's very meta and weird. But the illustrations for the comic book section are great. They have like very light kind of escape room puzzles to solve within them. They have like very minor branching storylines and things you can discover for your characters. And I just found it overall very charming. I found the like main mystery you were trying to solve very interesting, and the comic book art got my kids and family into it more. So generally a win overall for this. But from a pro to a full-on con for my number 3, this is my biggest complaint about the game, and that's the swinginess of the luck in the main code-breaking portion. And this luck crops up in a lot of ways. First of all, you're trying to uncover these clues to actually like solve the cipher or the code you're trying to break. And sometimes the main clues you need are in the first few rooms you search. Sometimes they're in the last few rooms you search, and it can really change the length of the game. But then on top of that, the whole game is controlled by card play, and sometimes all the wrong numbers or all the high numbers come out early. Sometimes really low numbers come out. But the biggest swingy element of all, the one that really bothers me sometimes, is how the game ends. After you go through the entire deck once, you shuffle in these like little clock watch cards, and those trigger the end of the game, so you have to guess before they come up. But sometimes they just end up like right near the top of the deck, and you have almost no time at all. Sometimes they're at the bottom, and you can solve every single piece of the clue. So I just wish it was a little bit tighter. But we are back to a pro for my number 2, and that is the code breaking itself. There's a very great variety, without spoiling anything, really great variety in the types of puzzles you need to solve. Some of them are word-based, some of them are number-based, some of them are like a combination, and the game sort of like teaches you about different cipher systems and stuff as you go. And again, as somebody who likes kind of deducing these things, I've been playing Wordle a ton, I've loved Letter Jam recently, so I like just kind of like having gaps and trying to fill in what the pattern or what the word or what the number is. I really enjoy this overall, and I think, again, really nice variety within the limited content they have in the box. So you're not really going to feel like you're playing the exact same type of puzzle from game to game. But man, I haven't actually touched on the main part of the game, and that is my number 1, and for me it's generally a pro, and that is the card play to move around and find these clues to allow you to solve the puzzle. So the basic idea is you have 4 different actions, and you play cards from your hand with values 1 through 12 to take the actions, but those cards stay on top of the action, and to take the action again, you have to play a higher value than what's already there. And this is really, I'll be honest, most interesting with 2 or 3 or even the full 4 player count, because you can't communicate exactly what's in your hand. It's got limited communication, so you have some like interesting things of trying to set each other up and not take too many actions. It's not as interesting in solo, and you can kind of see that in the playthroughs. I have a double playthrough on the channel, so you can see the game in action. But even for solo, I find the main tactical puzzle of like moving around, and there are some elements that get unlocked as you go along. I find that all interesting and exciting and tense, which is a good thing because all the comic book and narrative aside, you spend the vast majority of the game playing these cards and finding these clues. So overall, you might want to check out The Initiative if you like the Unlock series or Exit series, or if you like deductive word games like Letter Jam or those kind of things. But on the other hand, you might want to avoid this one if you don't like limited communication, if you don't like deduction, if you don't like word games, if you don't like ciphers. I mean, that's kind of like everything that's here. But also if you don't find like the comic book and sort of the narrative tie-in compelling. And also the big one, even though there is a lot of content here, if you want a game that is infinitely replayable and you can't easily sell or trade this one on, it might not fit your budget. But like I said, I have 2 full playthroughs in a video to watch. The first one has 0 spoilers, and the second one has minor spoilers, so you can kind of get a feel for the game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.